I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. The KADA Scott case. Keon King's attorney, Shaka Johnson, blames it on God. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Salute to the chat. Salute to my moderators. Salute to all of those that's catching this on the replay game. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack to the beginning of the case just to catch everybody up to speed. And then we're going to get into exactly what does Keon King's attorney, Shaka Johnson, means when he says blame it on God. Salute Jamie, salute Leslie, salute VT. Let's tap into and catch everybody up to date on this case.
Developing tonight, a tragic update on the case of KADA Scott. The Philadelphia medical examiner confirming today that it was her remains found behind a vacant school over the weekend. The suspect charged with her kidnapping is now facing new criminal charges. Keon King is accused of arson, causing or risking catastrophe, and conspiracy. The list is long. A vigil to remember KADA just wrapping up about an hour ago at the Ada H. Lewis Middle School in East Germantown. The search for KADA lasting 2 long weeks. She was first reported missing on October 4th after arriving for her job at a senior living facility in Chestnut Hill. King surrendered 10 days later. And then on Saturday, human remains were discovered, which investigators confirmed as KADA. Investigators had previously searched that vacant middle school, but returned after a tipster told them to go back. It's less than 3 miles from the senior living facility where KADA worked. And based on surveillance video, investigators say they believe she was killed shortly after leaving work the day she disappeared. Our Kelly Rule has been following the investigation closely. She has the latest from the former Ada Lewis Middle School.
Investigators have not announced who killed KADA or how she died. That's part of an active and ongoing police investigation, and they say homicide charges will be coming. Now, there was also another active search happening behind the school today. Law enforcement sources tell me additional remains were recovered today, and as they are testing that evidence, police held the scene.
I just felt moved to come over there to lay some at her memorial.
As Philadelphia police conducted another search today at the former Ada Lewis Middle School, a growing memorial for 23-year-old KADA Scott. Her body found behind the school in a wooded area Saturday morning. Nathaniel Bell and his wife brought flowers.
It could have been my daughter, and the young lady is everybody's daughter because she was a member of the community.
Now, let me just slide in for a second, y'all, because the suspect, the Keon King, he's been very busy, right? He's been very busy. Now, the suspect, Keon King, already has an active protection abuse order against him from a third victim until 2027. This guy got multiple violent charges as well as multiple kidnapping charges, right? Now, another kidnapping charge was dismissed earlier this year, but then once he became the suspect in the KADA Scott case, they refiled those kidnapping charges, right? Now, I know y'all gonna say, who would want to represent him? Who would want to defend him? And that's what we all struggle with. For those that are familiar with the Nazaria Harris case, we struggle with Jarvis's defense team, like in the same case with Nazaria, how Jarvis had previous charges. That was Jarvis' MO, SA kids. Now, this suspect, King, his MO is kidnapping. So now, what would make the attorney, Shaka Johnson, want to represent him? And we're going to get to that later on. I'm just trying to catch everybody up to speed because there are many that is new to this case. So I'm just trying to catch everybody up to speed, and then we're going to get into exactly what the attorney means by blame it on God. Positive Vibe says the justice system failed the public, and that's facts. Alicia says, what the H is with all this kidnapping ish? Facts. Keon been escalating with each case. Facts. But let's tap back in, y'all.
What the new tip was this weekend was go back. It was go back, she's there, look again, and they did give more specific details in terms of where to look.
Investigators confirmed today they are now investigating that tip that led them back to the school to search for a second time and directly to KADA's body Saturday. KADA was reported missing on October 4th after arriving at her overnight job at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, a senior living facility in East Mount area, around 10 p.m. Her car was still there, but her phone and keys missing. More than a week later, officials announced charges against 21-year-old Keon King for kidnapping, false imprisonment, and stalking in connection with KADA's disappearance. The district attorney's office now says on October 3rd, a 2008 black Hyundai Accent was reported stolen from the 6600 block of Sprague Street. They say that vehicle showed up on surveillance cameras at Albury Recreation Center next to the former Ada Lewis Middle School the night KADA disappeared on October 4th around 10:30 p.m. It stayed there for a day and a half. Then around 3 a.m. on October 7th, in an alleyway behind the 2300 block of 74th Avenue, police responded to a burned black Hyundai Accent, which was later compacted at a nearby junkyard. Investigators believe King used this stolen vehicle, and cell phone evidence and call detail records tie him to these locations. Law enforcement sources say the 1999 gold Toyota Camry, originally believed to be King's car and towed for evidence last week, was also seen on surveillance video in the recreation center lot when the Hyundai Accent was there.
At the point where the Hyundai Accent is on scene on video at the rec center leading up to all of the events we're talking about, the other car, the Toyota, is there as well, and we believe the people in these vehicles are working together. But in terms of who those people are and the level of their involvement, I'm not going to comment at this time.
District Attorney Larry Krasner has been criticized about a previous kidnapping and assault case involving King, which was dismissed when a key witness failed to appear. His office refiled it last week.
Now, to me, these laws has to be changed, y'all. They really do, because, and like Positive Vibe said, this whole justice system sucks. I see everybody in the chat, y'all. Finally caught alive over so many months ago. This case has so many holes in it. So sad for KADA. Yes, it has so many holes, so many ups and downs, but this is the suspect. I see you, Radiant Jewel. I see. Now, is it me, or why is it that these type of offenders, get released back out on the streets? Once upon a time, it was a such thing as rehabilitation. It was a such thing as, you get locked up. All right, now you done learned your lesson. We can't operate like that no more. Because as we see, none of these fools seems to learn their lesson. This is his MO. This is all that's on his report card. He likes to kidnap young ladies. And in this case, along with the kidnapping young ladies, he has took it to the extreme by unaliving KADA Scott. I'm going to put my money on it. I'm going to say allegedly. And the only reason why I'm going to say allegedly is because I got to say allegedly, for YouTube laws. But I can promise y'all, when this all play out, I promise y'all, he's going to be guilty. He's going to be guilty of unaliving her. because the justice system don't care. It's almost like they know, okay, we're gonna release this individual back on the streets because we know that they're gonna commit this crime again. These young people act like they can't wait to go to prison. The fact that Jarvis hasn't been unalive shows he's protected. Facts. It's almost like something has to happen before something is done. Facts. It's like going to the emergency room. You damn near dying, but you have to be, I'm going to say, dead before they can do something. So it's the same way with the criminal system. They don't work to prevent these crimes from taking place. They wait till the crimes take place. Then it's too late. What if this isn't his first unaliving? That's facts, positive. That's facts. That part. I can just imagine how many times he's already did this before. Facts. That's facts.
The buck stops here. We recognize that there are some things that could have been done better in this case.
KADA's family released a statement today saying in part, quote, "Our hearts are broken beyond measure. KADA was deeply loved. Her light, kindness, and beautiful spirit will forever remain in our hearts." Now, investigators have not released the extent of the relationship between KADA and Keon King, only saying that they knew each other and spoke briefly in the days leading up to her disappearance. Again, the medical examiner will ultimately determine her cause and manner of death. Reporting outside the former Ada Lewis Middle School, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox 29 News.
If you would like to help KADA's family, 9th District Councilman Anthony Phillips is organizing a donation drive. You can bring self-care items like toiletries and relaxation items, gift cards for meal delivery services, or non-perishable food to his office on the 1500 block of Wadsworth Avenue. The donations will be given to KADA's mom, dad, and high school-age sister.
The game is all messed up. Now, the $1 million question is, who would represent the suspect in this case? Drop a one. Drop a one if any of you all could see yourself representing the suspect. Drop a 2 if you say, nah, Shank, ain't enough money in the world that will make me represent this joker. I can just imagine how many times he's already did this before. Yes, he's going to be accountable for this crime. Them DAs, the former and the present one, going up against each. I hope this case be live. He's going to flip. No way. I'll represent. And I know as an attorney, it's hard. As an attorney, you might not have a case in months. Then here come this case, And the cold thing about it is, a lot of these guys, a lot of these jokers that do commit these crimes, a lot of them walk free, believe it or not, y'all. A lot of them walk free. So what does Shaka, the attorney, means? Because he blames it on God. And I know y'all like, Shank, get out of here. I don't see how people are representing Jarvis' funky ass. But they are. You know what I mean? They are. I see you, Miss Parker. So now, the attorney for King has been catching all kind of hell. People want to know, why are you representing him? We're going to tap into and find out what he had to say. And I just want to say and send my condolences to the family of KADA Scott. And if you're in the Philadelphia area, and if you would like to donate to the donation drive, please donate. And I'm not sure if they have a GoFundMe, but if you would like to donate to help this family, The family really would appreciate it. Appreciate this super chat, Miss Parker. She's pushing Shank, so I'll be back in a few. Okay. Congratulations. Can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands? Me and Miss Parker is about to be grandparents again. Miss Parker's daughter, Timmy, is in labor. So can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands and some congratulations? All publicity is publicity, be it good or bad. He knows God didn't tell him that money speaking to him. He knows this case is dead, ended. I see you, Regina. I see you, T-Love. Now, yes, that's fine. And see, here's my thing, y'all, when it comes to putting God into certain scenarios, right? Now, who am I? Let me just first say this. Who am I? Better yet, before I even go into it, let's hear it out of the horse's mouth himself, all right? Does anyone know if court-appointed attorneys get paid more if it's a high-profile case? To my knowledge, they don't get paid no more. To my knowledge. Now, I could be wrong. To my knowledge. I'll come back down to the chat, y'all. Give me a second. Let me grab the attorney, y'all. Because I know many of y'all are waiting, and many of y'all can't believe that this attorney would have said something like that. But let's tap into the attorney.
Myself at a time in global because the faculty understood the different things that military students
Now, for the very first time, we are hearing from Keon King's lawyer. King is the man accused of killing 23-year-old KADA Scott and burying her in a shallow grave in the woods behind Ada Lewis Middle School. Tonight, the community is coming together to honor Scott again, whose remains were discovered last week. Jen?
Dawn, the community started gathering about half an hour ago here at Ada Lewis Middle School. You can hear some loud music here. There is a DJ for this event, and people were asked to bring blue or brown balloons in honor of KADA Scott. Now, you mentioned Keon King's lawyer, Shaka Johnson. He has been facing criticism in recent days for representing King. He went on a radio interview today to defend himself.
Online petitions to have me removed from the case because they don't want me representing this gentleman.
Criminal defense lawyer Shaka Johnson spoke with WDAS-FM host Frankie Darcell this afternoon on the KADA Scott case. He's representing the accused Keon King.
I listen for God's voice when I am deciding whether to take a case. Is that what you did here? Most definitely.
King, only 21 years old, was previously in trouble with the law and now faces a long list of charges.
Let me just stop it, y'all. Let me just stop it. So, according to King's attorney, he says that he listens for God's voice. He listens to God's voice. And the interviewer asked him, did God tell you to take this case? And he said, for sure. Now, let's chop it up, y'all. Let's chop it up because I'm going to be honest with y'all. Over the years, I've watched how people use God's name in vain. I've watched how people always throw God in their mess. It could be a bunch of mess, and somehow people involve God into this. Oh, that's God testing me. Or thank God. But we all know that just like God rewards his servants, the devil also rewards his servants as well. Drop a 3. We're going to chop it up right here, y'all. Drop a 3 if you believe that God spoke to him and told him to take this case. Drop a 4 if you disagree. Now, somebody in the chat said it, and they're right. Everybody is entitled to be represented. And that's a fact. Everybody. Because in the United States of America, it's innocent until proven guilty. So even though the suspect has a track record, even though it's his MO of kidnapping, that don't necessarily mean he did the kidnapping. I watched enough Matlock. I watched enough of these detective shows, and I'm sure y'all watched enough of them as well. You just know for a fact that this is the person that did the crime. But once that movie start to play out, when it get halfway, you be like, I don't think it was that person. Then by the time it get to the end, it wasn't that person. So it is a strong possibility. It's a strong possibility that Keon, even though that's his MO, it's a strong possibility he could have been framed. Because people get framed all the time. I've been framed before. I'm sure many of y'all been framed before. So my thing is with the attorney, saying that he heard God's voice. A lot of people say things like that. I heard God's voice. God was speaking to me. Let me see what my chat's saying. Keon pulled the knife on his teacher at school. Exactly, Leslie. That sounds crazy. Sean dropped the 4. Kamara says, given New Jack City. T the Goddess says, I wanted to be a lawyer. I definitely know I would ask God to help me with a decision. I watched the new Matlock. I can't say if he did or not speak to God. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Because I could say it all day long. I ain't talked to God. Well, who am I? Because if I tell somebody I spoke to God, they might say the same thing. Keon Daddy is a detective. I wanted to be a lawyer myself. Not with those videos out there. I see you, Brooklyn Baddest. He sure is, Alicia. Nah, I'm good. Shaka, the attorney for the bigger issue. Some people say he's just clout chasing. But there's more. There's more. Let me grab this one more from Love Helping Out. I'm used to little G for this God he's talking about. I wonder what his God strategy going to be. Then again, I don't want an answer from his God. St. Philly says, it's the escalation in crimes that raises questions. Strangling and pow pow completely different. Keon is definitely off. Appreciate that, St. Let's tap back in, y'all.
Including murder, kidnapping, conspiracy, abuse of corpse, and tampering with evidence.
But as a black man,
Let me backtrack, y'all.
is that what you did here? Most definitely.
King, only 21 years old, was previously in trouble with the law and now faces a long list of charges, including murder, kidnapping, conspiracy, abuse of corpse, and tampering with evidence.
But as a black man, you took this case. Yes. And there are people who are angry or salty or disappointed about that. What do you say to that? When it's a black man, when it's a black attorney, and I'm speaking for a lot of black attorneys who may not be saying this publicly, but they've been all on my phone privately. We are held to a different standard for whatever reason.
And I will agree with them now. I will agree with that as black men, period. As black men, we are held to a higher standard. And I was in a Facebook group that they was talking about this. And I mean, the sisters, the black women, they were really going in on black men. I could understand their pain. But in this situation, they was just speaking like it's always black men that's unaliving black women. And then in this case, it's a black man that comes along to represent another black man for taking the life of a black woman. And they was like, that's why, black women can't trust black men. I understand their pain. Now, is it safe to say that black men don't protect black women? Is it safe to say that black men are always taking the lives of black women? And I gotta be honest, in a lot of cases, it's true. But then in a lot of other cases, black men, we do protect black women to the best of our ability. This right here with the attorney, it's a cold situation to be in. And this is one of those situations that I'm glad that it's not me. And I can relate to this attorney, y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all why I can relate to this attorney. Me as a content creator, right? I catch so much clapback from people when I cover cases. Shank, why you put that information out there? Shank, this case has gotten messy and all kind of things. But as a content creator, I make my money off of content. So for this attorney, he's a defense attorney. He makes his money off of defending clients. So I understand and I feel where he's coming from, But let me tap back into him, y'all. And I'm gonna come back. I see y'all in the chat. Let me come back. Let me come back, y'all.
When it's a black man, when it's a black attorney, and I'm speaking for a lot of black attorneys who may not be saying this publicly, but they've been all on my phone privately. We are held to a different standard for whatever reason. I'm a professional. I took an oath. Just like doctors take a Hippocratic oath, I took an oath to represent the people that are in my wheelhouse of business.
KADA Scott was last seen the night of October 4th at her job, the terrace at Chestnut Hill Senior Living. Court documents say the 23-year-old was texting with King moments before she disappeared. And surveillance video at the Aubrey Rec Center captured King's gold Toyota Camry and two people carrying a heavy object consistent with a human body. Police recovered Scott's remains October 18th in the woods behind the former Ada Lewis Middle School, where a memorial has been growing ever since.
It just shows the impact that she had on people's lives when she was living. And she was going through her journey. It's just sad to see that her journey was cut short the way that it has been, and by another young person.
King was arraigned this week on the new charges, including murder, and is being held without bail.
I also want to chop it up about this, y'all. How do these women, and I'm going to ask the women before I go in and give my demonstration about it. How do these young ladies, how do these women get involved with these kind of guys? Can anybody help me out? I see you, Tan. I see you, Kippy. I see the chat. Have y'all noticed? You very seldom, even though there is some cases, but you very seldom hear about a man, a black man, that's working two jobs, got a career, that really got it going on. The ones that is called corny and lame, they ain't the ones that's kidnapping these ladies. They're not the ones that are unaliving these ladies. I see y'all. I see you, Mel. Alicia says they like bad boys. That's it. And that's a fact. And it's always been like this. It has always been like this. Choosing these bad guys. I see you, Tarika. Yes, Leslie. I agree. She rejected him. I see you, Mel. They say she's the plug. He also has access to money. Facts. They do it too. I don't know what you're talking about. I understand what you are saying about your job, but what about your integrity? How would he feel if someone had to defend this clown and it was his daughter gone? I would not take a case like this. And I feel you 100, Tam. I feel exactly where you're coming from. That's true. These Philly young girls have no values. Everything is for the gram. That's facts. What money his parents got? Money. KADA is a good girl that got caught up, and so many girls get caught up. I see you, Shizzy. You know, I appreciate this super chat, T. Word on the street is that she wasn't dating him at all. She purchased weed from him. She had a boyfriend. Yeah, I've heard a couple things that's word on the streets, and this was one of the things that I've heard. You know, my thing is, and maybe it's because I'm old fashioned, y'all. All of them have been good girls lately. Maybe because I'm old fashioned. But y'all remember the good girl. Y'all remember the girl. Like it was a time when the females, they just moved. They wasn't moving reckless. Like if they was smoking weed, they would have somebody to cop the weed. I had females all the time come to me. Shank, can you go get me a bag? Woo 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 woo. You know, or Shank, you know, do you know anybody? Do you trust them? What I'm trying to say, in today's time, females are just more active. Like, they're more active. Unfortunately, there's more good women in Philly than good men. He's young and may have had a history of violence as a child, and that's facts. Regina says true. And I know, you know, dating the corny guy, the lame guy, I know it can be boring. I know y'all want some excitement in y'all life. Who am I? Who am I? They don't care as much as we did back in the day. In my day, women never had to purchase. His mom is an administrator at Children's Hospital. Females are operating like ninjas and got a hoax mentality. That's facts. Her boyfriend spoke out on TikTok. My man never allows me to purchase. He gets it for me. There's no longer real family structure. The whole system is corrupt. The 70s, 80s, early 90s moved way different. All facts. I'm going to try to get to as much as I can.
Hopefully he's man enough to accept his own actions and stand up and not have to put the family through any more additional pain.
This is not about money. This is not about money. I've been getting coins a long time. This is not about money, okay? I'm just going to be very frank about it. This is not about clout chasing or needing to somehow be in the public eye with a high-profile case.
How y'all feel about that? It's not about money. Now I could understand, you know, if it was, hey, look, man, this is how I make my earnings. This is how I take care of my family. But according to the attorney Shaka, it ain't about money. I will take a boring and safe man. Ain't nothing good comes from those bad boys and men. That's facts. I don't want fun if it leaves me behind bars. Boring is just fine. Make your own fun. That's facts. I just recently started getting my own green. It was either my man or one of my brothers. Give me a square ass ninja, please. Appreciate this super sticker, Leslie. Let's uncover some more in this case for those that are not familiar with the case, y'all. All right. Let's tap here and see what's going on here.
I was the first one to ever join the military in my family. When I got out, I knew that I wanted to go back to school.
All right. It is 7:32. Well, the family of KADA Scott is asking for attorney Shaka Johnson to withdraw from representing Keon King.
And you know that name because the 21-year-old faces numerous charges in the death of KADA Scott, including murder, kidnapping, conspiracy, abuse of corpse, and tampering with evidence.
In a Change.org petition, the Scott family says, in part, quote, Philadelphia attorney Shaka Johnson has chosen to represent Keon King in this deeply painful and high-profile case. While every person has the right to legal representation, this comes a point where morality must outweigh professional ambition. So with those comments, we wanted to get the comment from Shaka Johnson himself. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Who approached you to take the case in the first place?
His parents.
Keon King's parents?
Yes, his parents.
Now, are you the one that convinced him to turn himself in?
I walked in with him. Yes, I turned him in, and that was before he was formally charged with anything having to do with her disappearance, her kidnapping, the arson, the murder subsequently. That was before any of that.
But you were already representing him officially at that point?
On the strangulation case that you've now heard about, that they're calling the first one. Right. The district attorney contacted me directly. That's why these remarks are so, quite frankly, nonsensical. Because the district attorney contacted me and said, listen, I understand you're representing Keon King on this first strangulation. No doubt there may be some other charges coming down the pipe, but would you surrender him? Consulted with my client, consulted with his parents. We decided to do that. Had no idea that this had any relationship to KADA Scott or this sort of
well,
case
why
of
would
this
the
magnitude.
parents ask you to represent it? Did they saw the news coverage, did they think their son did it?
No. They came to me long before they knew their son was ever involved. His name was even swept up in this whole case. They had no idea. No idea. They thought that their son was in very little trouble. Very little trouble.
Well, then why turn himself in?
Well, because they're law-abiding folks. The parents are salt-of-the-earth people. If their son is being sought after, they want to hire an attorney. Please get to the bottom of it. See why the authorities.
Exactly. So that's where they wanted to
see why my son is being sought after, and let's investigate it. That's exactly what it is. They had no idea he was associated with this. We obviously came to find that out, and at that point, I was already his attorney.
And because of the strangulation case, why was he out?
The case was withdrawn. That strangulation.
Because the victim didn't show up in court?
Because the victim did not show up in court.
Why don't they just do it by Zoom?
Well, no. You have the right. We have constitutional protections, and people have to come to court. You can't wage allegations against a person and then get on the computer. You got to come down, participate in the process that you began.
Now, I do know that if, because I've beat some cases, like this, the individuals, I can talk about it because the cases have been dismissed, but the individuals, that I had the assault on didn't show up in court. So they, of course, had to dismiss the case. So let me grab this real quick, y'all. Young people don't respect their elders or parents. The mothers nowadays would probably send their child to get it. Many parents don't parent their children's friends. What strangulation case? He had a kidnapping case, Alicia. There was a kidnapping case that was dismissed early this year. I see you, Pee-wee. I see you, Ty Taylor the Great. I see y'all. He was already his attorney. According to Shaka. Shaka saying I was already his attorney. So I see you, Pee-wee. And Pee-wee up there in Philly. Pee-wee, what all you know about this case? Talk to us. And anybody that's from Philly, tap in with me. Tap in with me. Everybody from the Philly area. How they thought he was in a very little trouble when he kidnapped multiple girls. Now, that's facts. That's facts. From my understanding, Keon King parents didn't even know. On the other charge, Keon had this lawyer, didn't keep in contact with Keon, but that's how the parents got him back involved. He was his attorney already. The first case was dismissed for not showing up, but he was out on bail. That's the problem. Facts. That's facts. Let me tap back in, y'all.
There's some cases where even, for example, like domestic violence, or situations where even if the victim isn't able to come forward, that they're still able to prosecute, or is that just a different scenario?
No, it's a slightly different scenario.
Okay.
But in this particular case, she was given the opportunity to come to court twice. She didn't come to court, and so the case was withdrawn. As happens, let me be clear, this is not something that is highly irregular. It'll happen probably 50 times today. It happened.
And I can say this, appreciate this super sticker, Pee-wee. I don't know what this case was, why the victim didn't show up. He could have threatened the victim. This happens all the time. You know, he could have threatened the victim. He could have sent somebody to threaten the victim. Now, I don't know this case. I don't know if that's what happened. But maybe that's why the victim didn't show up 2 times. Maybe she got threatened.
Every day. When I say every day, not once or twice.
Where victims are not,
where cases are withdrawn or discharged, or the government voluntarily withdraws the charges because the so-called victim or the complainant is not there.
If nobody agrees to defend him as an attorney, is that when they appoint a public defender?
And I'm a backtrack, y'all. I'm a backtrack. But now I got to say this as well. Now, and I can speak on me. Like I said, these cases are done with. The charges has been dismissed and things of that nature. Now, I do know in the state of Maryland, I had a domestic violence case against one of my baby's mother. My baby mother didn't show up in court, but the state picked it up. So, I don't know. I'm going to go deeper down the rabbit hole and find out, did the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is this why they're retrying him? Don't know. But I do know in the state of Maryland, if the victim don't show up, 9 times out of 10, the state of Maryland going to pick that case up. But I'll find out. Let me backtrack, y'all. My bad for interrupting. Let me backtrack.
Victims are not,
where cases are withdrawn or discharged, or the government voluntarily withdraws the charges because the so-called victim or the complainant is not there.
If nobody agrees to defend him as an attorney, is that when they appoint a public defender?
Well, I don't know that many people would not agree to defend him. We represent, when I say we, I'm speaking about the criminal defense bar. We represent people from all walks of life who are accused of all manner of heinous crimes, okay? And
I remember didn't you represent a Proud Boy at one time?
Yes, I did. I represented Zachary Real, or one of the leader of the Proud Boys.
Did you have any folks from the community upset when you were representing him?
I got no emails. I got no social media, whatever. I got none of that. And I'm talking about, and he was obviously not the most high-profile person. Of course, you remember when I went and got Maurice Hill from that police barricade standoff for 8 hours. Like, this is what I do. This is what I do.
And how long have you been doing this?
Almost 20 years.
So is this the first time then that you've seen, because there's a petition that's also been put out that has about 2,000 signatures of people asking for you to withdraw from representing Keon King. Here is the about 2,500 petition. People have been posting. Have you ever had reaction like this from the community for representing someone or different?
No, I never. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if it's the clickbait. Like, I'm not sure why this particular case, like why this one case, because you cover news, you cover violent crimes. You know, there are people getting killed on a daily basis in this community. Now, I'm not talking about worldwide. In our city of Philadelphia, there are men and women and boys and girls murdered daily. They all have lawyers. So I'm not sure why this particular case.
Maybe it's all because everybody involved in the case is black.
Well, we're in Philadelphia. Out of the 1.6 million people in this town, most of the crimes in that criminal justice center are perpetrated against black people by black people.
Well, and we should mention that was brought up in the petition. If you look at what's on the website, it says, as a respected black attorney, Shaka Johnson's involvement in this case sends a chilling message to the black community that even those who claim to fight for justice are willing to defend known abusers, even those responsible for harming and killing black women.
Yeah, that's
And now, are we being too hard on Shaka? Because as you've seen, he handled a case with the Proud Boys. So it's not just black people that Shaka defends. He even defends white people that go against the grain. Now, this is what I was saying about the Facebook group that I was in, and how they were saying the same way with this. As a respected black attorney, Shaka Johnson's involvement in this case sends a chilling message to the black community that even those who claim to fight for justice are willing to defend known abusers, even those responsible for harming and killing black women. Are black women being, and I'm just asking y'all, so please don't start throwing y'all heels, and please don't start throwing stuff up here at me. I'm just asking, do you think that I'm going to say some black women, well, do you think that the black women that feel that way, do you think that they are going overboard? Beta says this is his job. If he pick and chooses, he won't have any clients. That's pretty much what I'm at. All right. Please speak to your Rock Squad family as you come in. The Proud Boys are not all white. Majority of them are Hispanic. Appreciate this super chat, love help. I'm miles away. This for baby shower Shank and Miss Parker. Appreciate you, love, helping out. So it's just a tight situation that Shaka is in my opinion, y'all. In my opinion.
That's really sad rhetoric, and people should be really more conscious of their words and the things they put out to the unsuspecting public, because if they were to take just one moment to get from behind the computer and come down to the courthouse, you would see that the rooms are chock full of people who are accused, people who look like me, accused of committing domestic violence, against people who are accused, against victims who look like me as well. And they have black attorneys, black private attorneys, black public defenders. I don't know that this is necessarily black versus white, honestly. I think this is more about the reputation that I've garnered as a successful attorney.
I think that's part of it. You have been very successful. Maybe they think you're too successful. Answer a couple other charges. He's doing it for money.
Me? Mm-hmm. No. I could do this case for free. It wouldn't really affect my bottom line.
Okay, doing it for notoriety.
Then what do we say about, I know we don't have that sort of time and we're not here for that, but I could give you probably 15 cases that I've done in the last maybe 5 years that are of higher notoriety than this, to be honest with you.
Drop a 6, y'all. Drop a 6 if you think that he's just being political correct. He's worrying about being political correct when he answers the question when they asked him about, are you doing this for money? You know, do y'all think, drop a 6 if you think he's just saying, no, he's not doing it for the money because he want to be political correct. Because see, like I said, and y'all know, Rock Squad, y'all know, when they come at me and be like, yeah, Shank Rock, he only doing it for the money. You know, Shank, he only doing it for super chats and super stickers. What I say, you're goddamn right. Now, I do it for the passion. I do it to help. I do it from the bottom of my heart. But at the same time, it's a business. And I would be lying to y'all if I tell y'all, nah, I don't cover these cases for the money. I ain't no content creator for the money. I would be lying to y'all. But I do know some people like to stay in the gray area. Me, I could give a damn about the gray area. With me, it's either black or white. And some people be like, nah, Shank, don't tell the people that you be doing it for the money. But like I said, if I can't be real with myself, then I can't be real with nobody. But I'm just saying, as far as Shaka, maybe he's saying he's not doing it for the money because he want to be political correct. I don't know. I'm going to come to the chat, y'all. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to come to the chat. Just give me a few minutes.
Right? So that's not it. People come to your office and they consult with you and they say, listen, Alex, at one point there was a gentleman, giving you some grief, and they had to go to court. That gentleman had an attorney. Right? So people have attorneys. That is part of the constitutional protections. What few we have left, those are the constitutional protections that are still in place. Due process. You get a lawyer when you are accused of a crime, and you get a lawyer of your choosing.
Is this hurtful for you?
No, I don't operate on the frequency of social media. I'm not on that bandwidth at all.
One last thing, just since you've been representing him even before these charges came out, and I know this is going to be played out in court, so there's probably not too much you can say, but is there more about, because people have been assuming and trying to figure out all kinds of reasons, is there more that we will learn about Keon King? Do you think he is mentally stable enough to do trial?
I think you're going to hear some more about Keon King, and the reason why I have been interestingly quiet. Right? Because I think you both know that I'm not afraid of cameras. I'm not afraid of a microphone. I will pull up a podium. That's what I do. In this particular case, you've noticed I have been deafeningly silent. I haven't said a single word. This is my second interview. I did one Friday and then one today on this particular subject matter, and nothing about the case, because I want this to play out in court where the rules are different. The court of public opinion has no rules. You can do what you want, say what you want, like the DA's been doing so far. I am not doing that. I want this to play out in court where we have rules.
Okay, we want to get you on tape saying this. Will you withdraw from this case?
So the family wants him to withdraw from the case. He says no, he's not withdrawn from the case. How do y'all feel? Drop an 8 if you think that he should respect the parents' wishes by withdrawing from the case. Drop a 9 if you feel like, nah, Shank, he got a right not to withdraw. All right? Due process, that's it, that's all. But you being honest, getting beat on it doesn't feel good. It doesn't, because we can't dictate to an attorney what clients he should take. It's his profession. He shouldn't have to answer to anybody who he defends. I agree with you. I mean, people go to work to get money. So why wouldn't you want to get paid, Shank? I agree with you, Queen. Why are they all up in this man's business? Young women need to find better company. This whole group is bad. I agree with that. He represented I can't pronounce that. I see an 8. I see a 9. Why would he? I see an 8, a 9. When he was a DA, how was his track record on cases? I'm going to look all of that up, y'all. I'm going to look all of that up. I might come back live at 10 o'clock, but if I don't come back at 10, make sure y'all pull up tomorrow at 12 noon. All right, for more on the KADA Scott case. Shank, where do they do that at? Seriously. I'm with you, Mel. I'm with you, Miss Sunny. Refresh me on that case. A 9. The only thing I don't like about him is sarcasm. Keon is a psychopath. Abel dropped a lot of 9s, 8s. You lie with Doug's, bound to get fleas. It's a video of Keon King stalking a woman with kids in the house. I'm going to get to all of that, Leslie. I'm going to get to all of that. A matter of fact, I'm going to go to it right after this. But he would respect the family's wishes. So, see, it's a tough one, y'all. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But the Keon, his MO is kidnapping. And I'm going to go to a couple video clips. Let me finish up with this one, y'all. Let me finish up with this. And what I don't cover in this, I'll cover in my next demonstration.
Well, that's your side of the story.
And I'm sticking to it.
Right.
Yes, thank you. And we also want to mention, of course, that we've been talking with the family, and if the family's more to say, we will also get their side, as we played some quotes for you there
But they
from their
asked
petition.
that everybody stop, asking them for statements until this woman is laid to rest, and so we'll respect that for sure.
True.
But
And that's part of the reason. Can I just say that, Alex? That's part of the reason that I haven't said very much. I'm trying to show the most respect, and I think you can do two of these things at the same time. You can show respect to the decedent and her family, and sort of, believe it or not, the defense attorney can be a part of that healing process. You can, which is why I've been quiet and just doing the work where the courtroom suggests I do the work.
All right, let's go to a clip of the suspect doing what he does. Where that clip at, y'all? Give me 1 second, y'all. Let's see if this will get it. That's not it. Let's see what this is. I need the actual clip. All right.
Turn now. It's nearly 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia. Faith Abubate's here with the latest, including a chilling new video this morning that's now part of the investigation. Good morning, Faith.
Yeah, good morning to you, Michael. That video was posted on TikTok. A woman claiming it shows a man trying to break into her house. Police telling ABC News that they believe that the man you're about to see in that video is the suspect, now charged with kidnapping KADA Scott.
Bye. Keon out here.
This morning, police investigating this video showing who they believe to be Keon King, the suspect connected to the disappearance of 23-year-old nursing assistant KADA Scott.
Now, as an attorney, how do y'all feel now as an attorney if this video resurfaced, if you saw this video as an attorney that's representing Keon, would you have second thoughts? See, this changes everything now, because now it's like, damn, this is your jacket. This is your MO. Ms. Ward says that's him. He is not obligated to her parents. This man has to earn a living. Who is going to pay his bills? If he was related to the deceased, then it would be a family issue. I could understand. I feel you. I agree. I agree. She was beautiful. Yes, she was a very beautiful young lady. He's so funny looking. The girl doesn't sound afraid. And see, this is another thing that I need to, and we all need to address. A lot of females, not all, but a lot of females think stuff like this is cute. I wouldn't have taken the case. He representing for the money. He's not working on feelings. When these things happen, a lot of females think this type stuff is cute. A lot of females think that, he ain't going to do nothing to me. A lot of females that say, he know better to do something to me. I get my brother on him. I get my baby daddy on him. I get my homeboy on him. This is how a lot of females operate when situations like this occur. You know, they think it's cute. They be on the phone with their homegirl. Girl, this boy crazy. Who? Keon? What'd he do? What'd he do? This fool out in front of my house, peeping all through the window, talking about what he gonna do to me. He got good sense. This is how females talk. Not all, but this is how it goes down. This boy crazy. Until Keon, until he, and it's not to say that this is in the case of KADA, but I'm just saying in this case,
a man seen peeking through the window from outside in the yard. It's unclear when or where this video was taken. Now, the race against time to find Scott, who police say vanished mid-shift while working at this assisted living facility in Philadelphia nearly 2 weeks ago.
We need to find Miss Scott, figure out where she is, or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone.
Authorities say they believe Scott was last in contact with 21-year-old King, arrested and charged with kidnapping and recklessly endangering another person, and is being held on a $2.5 million bail. Investigators say before Scott disappeared, she told relatives she was being harassed, though it has yet to be determined if the person harassing her was King. But officials say their suspect does have a pattern of similar crimes.
He did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges.
Investigators relying on tips from the public, crediting one of those tips with helping to find the suspect's car. Scott's family not giving up hope, urging anyone with information to speak up.
And they did find her. And it's just another sad case, y'all. Shank, 7 pounds, 1 ounce, and he's adorable. Yeah, another grandbaby. Can I get everybody to throw up some congratulations to me and Miss Parker for another grandbaby? It's and I was doing good, y'all, because normally early on in the case, I would have got emotional, but I'm starting to get emotional now, because a young lady, a beautiful young lady who had the world to travel, explore, a beautiful young lady that was going to live out her potentials, her life has been cut short. Her life has been cut short. I'm going to give y'all one more clip, then we're going to get out of here. I'm not even going to try to come back at 10. Just pull back up on me tomorrow at 12 noon. And I'll cover more of the case. It's a very interesting case. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Sad. All right, let's tap into the key piece of evidence that was recovered.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives to my dorm room and built a Wix website to sell them.
A key piece of evidence is locked up, and so is the man charged with kidnapping a Philadelphia woman. Thank you for joining us. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Jacqueline London. The search for KADA Scott will soon enter its 12th day. Let's take a look at how the critical moments in the case started, beginning with her disappearance. It all began back on October 4th when Scott vanished during her overnight shift at a nursing home in Northeast Philadelphia. Yesterday, Keon King turned himself into police. His arrest and charges were announced today, charged with kidnapping.
About 5 hours later, police tracked down King's car to an apartment complex. It was towed to a garage where investigators will search it for evidence. NBC 10 Shire Arias is live in North Philadelphia outside the garage housing the car. Shire, you spoke with Scott's family tonight, didn't you?
I did, and I got to tell you, they are very, very sad, distraught with all of the information that they just received today. Now, police put out the word that they were looking for this car, and literally today, just hours later, they were able to locate that vehicle, and it was brought here to North Philadelphia, where now they're going to be looking at this car for more evidence.
We making leeway, but it's also dead ends, so we just looking for something solid, just trying to keep our energy positive. Like, my brother said, just hoping to bring my niece home safe.
The family of missing 23-year-old KADA Scott tells NBC 10 they refuse to lose hope, believing she's still alive. Her uncle reacted tonight to the arrest of 21-year-old Keon King, charged with kidnapping KADA.
A rage, honestly, and he's definitely, it's why?
The investigation took a new turn today after police announced King's arrest. Shortly after, a tip led officers to an abandoned elementary school in Germantown, where they spent hours canvassing the area with canine units. They found evidence outside the school linking Scott to that location. KADA Scott was last seen October 4th during her overnight shift at an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. Investigators believe King was the last person to see her and say the two knew each other prior to her disappearance. While detectives searched Germantown, another tip came in. This time, it took police to East Falls. That's where police found King's vehicle, a 1999 Toyota Camry, parked inside an apartment complex.
Crazy, scary, hoping that she's still okay.
Amy, who lives in the complex, says she was shocked the car connected to the case was found right where she lives.
But a neighbor that I know who called the tip in, I can't believe he came out and he noticed it.
Amy says the complex has strict security.
You pull up to the gate and you either have a sticker on your car that is given to you when you buy or rent, and then you have a key card.
Earlier this year, King was charged with kidnapping another woman, but the case was withdrawn. Those charges have now been refiled following his arrest in connection with KADA's disappearance.
And what also goes through my mind is how many other people has he maybe done this to?
Let me say this, y'all, before we get out of here. Ladies, if you are in a situation where you have been kidnapped, if you're in a situation, a domestic violence issue, report it. And when it's time to show up in court, please go and show up in court, because you could be saving your life as well as other people's lives. We gotta change our mind frame now. We can't no longer, I'm not no snitch. I don't want to see him go to jail. People are dying out here. People are losing their lives. This is serious. This is serious business, because had the female that didn't show up in court, and I don't know why she didn't show up in court, but had she showed up in court and maybe testified against Keon, then it's a strong possibility this wouldn't have never happened to KADA. Strong possibility that KADA would still be here. Yvette says I have to do a replay. What was up with that text message? Absolutely, Shank. That's what I did. I had to. If you see something, say something. If you see something, say something, y'all. What's crazy is that a tipster led the cops to all evidence to where she was, even calling back at a different time to lead them to her grave. Did they watch the whole thing? Because remember, when they went first, they didn't find her, and then the tipster said, go back. go back. And that's when they went back. So make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Shank, do Keon goes before judge tomorrow? I'm going to, because I just got this case. I know just a little bit of it, but somebody sent me the case early and asked me if I would cover it. So I'll have more answers tomorrow. And if it's anybody that's in the chat that has any answers, do he go before the judge tomorrow? Just let me know. But I'll have more answers tomorrow when I go live. If I know, I'm telling it. I think the tipster was involved. The text messages from KADA to Keon saying kidnap me again. Was that Keon who wrote it? I'm not sure, Miss Ward, but by tomorrow, I will be able to let you know. That was me. Thanks for covering. Appreciate you, Felicia. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Felicia. But yeah, people losing their lives. And the very person that you think won't take your life, they'll take your life. Ladies, your husband will take your life from you. Your boyfriend will take your life. Your baby daddy will take your life. Your side piece, your sugar daddy will take your life. Every man has the potentials of taking a life. And in most of these cases, the man will tell a woman, I'll kill you. If a man ever tells you that, believe that man and get as far away from that man as possible. Love don't hurt. A lot of females think that if he loves me, then he will beat on me. That's not the kind of love that you want. And if that is the kind of love that you are seeking, you need to seek professional counseling. You need therapy. Because any woman that yearns for abuse, any woman that believes that a man has to hit her to show his love, is something wrong with you. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not saying that to make mockery. I'm only saying that because it's true. A man don't gotta put his hands on you to show that he loves you. It's other ways that he can show that he loves you. Absolutely. I believe it's one of those women that he was living with. So true, love doesn't hurt. If that was Keon on her phone, that was a couple of days before she went missing. I believe not too sure. I'll let you know tomorrow, Miss Ward. I'm sorry. I'll let you know tomorrow, Miss Ward.
KADA's family wants to tell the public that they just want people to put themselves in their position and that any information is valuable. Anyone with information is asked to contact officials. They are still treating this case as a missing person case. In North Philadelphia, Shire.
And now it's more than a missing person case. Of course, she has been found. She's deceased. So make sure everybody tap back in with me tomorrow at 12 noon. And I'll fast forward up to where we're at now in the case. All right. So I'll see everybody back tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. All right. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see everybody back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Prosecutor said, okay, before we get out of here, what did the prosecutor say, Ms. Toya? And then we're going to get out of here. What the prosecutor say? Nobody deserves to be unalive, like especially when they ain't done nothing to anyone. That's facts. 12 noon, it is. Also, while I got y'all here, I'm so glad that you popped in Tour Africa. There, Tour Africa, and if anybody is interested in a skating trip to the motherland, to Ghana, make sure y'all tap in with Tour Africa. Here's the promotion to the skating trip.
I am Tammy Ross from LA. Practically lived in Ghana for 5 years now. I met great people and talented skaters. My passion for skating led to creating the Africa on Wheels Skate and Culture Tour to encourage people to do what they love in the motherland too. I've met very creative skaters, but noticed there are not many safe places to skate, although
the
they make it
2026
happen
Skate
indeed.
Empowerment Tour to Ghana itinerary includes 7 days in 2 regions, traditional welcome ceremony, meet and greet mingle, Ghana Skate live presentation, 4 historical and cultural attractions, community skate workshop, massages by waterfalls, the Cape Coast Annual Festival, Doing Business in Ghana Conference. You will skate at various safe locations and participate in the Cape Coast Annual Festival to include indoor skate rink in Accra, the main city. All travelers will be featured on the Yo Mama podcast and exposed to sponsors. Also meet and collaborate with local and skaters from everywhere. You can compete or vote in the Feature Talent Show. This is not a money.
If you are interested in attending a skating trip in Ghana, tap into Tour Africa. You can pull up on her on Instagram. DM her on Instagram, Tour Africa _net. All right. Let me grab this. Ms. Toya says, DA said they didn't show up to court because he got bail and they were scared. And I figured that they just probably was scared. Thank you, Ms. Toya. So once again, everybody, I'll see y'all back tomorrow at 12 noon. I'll leave the chat running and you all can hang around. Salute, everybody.